Hello, welcome back to the I Feel Like Rhyming podcast, the coolest podcast you've never heard. KevMacc back here by the fireplace, ready to talk some hip-hop news and some new topics that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Just to start off the podcast, no big deal, but since I said something, the Celtics are 2-0 and are going into play the Lakers tonight at like 8:30. I think it's in LA, but the Lakers are done. LeBron's drinking every day. He's got a lot of issues that he needs to work out with himself. He needs to get spiritually fit before he can get physically fit and think of beating the Celtics. So Celtics are about to be 3-0, so that'll be, undefeated since, they were mentioned on the I Feel Like Rhyming podcast. When you're mentioned by KevMacc, you never know what the ramifications will be, how good they'll be. And it's just caused, a whole team turnaround and, no losses, and just the team seems more upbeat and getting along together, and everyone's finally working together. It's no big deal. I don't know. I'm not saying I did it and I'm the main cause of it, and it should all the praise should go to me. I'm not saying that. I'm saying most of it probably should. Moving on. Go Celtics. I think the Celtics will win the East still. We'll get in a sports podcast another day, but it's a good discussion. The East is very interesting. I mean, anyone, the Sixers, Bucks, or Toronto, they all could win it, but I think, the Celtics just went through a rough patch and they're getting better, and I think they're still going to take this, so that'll be fun to see. Alright, let's go over a couple topics before I get into my main topic. Number one, I haven't mentioned, I wanted to get into West Side Gun, Conway, and Benny the Butcher. These are three of my favorite lyricists and new up-and-coming rappers that I've been following for a while, especially Conway and Benny the Butcher, and I just started like West Side Gun, a lot more too, but they did like the Funk Flex freestyle. I always mess up that word, or his name. So they did the freestyles. I remember they did a radio tour of freestyles, and that's when I kind of started really listening to them. I had heard them before, but then right as I was getting into them a lot, listening to them a lot, they signed to Shady Records, and they were Eminem's new artists, is what I thought, because their record label was Griselda Records, and I remember Griselda Records would have like all these hot new spitters, but all the up-and-coming lyricists, in all seriousness, Griselda Records was going to be like next TDE. It seemed like they had a crazy good roster of lyricists and artists that just had a ton of potential, very high ceilings. So, that's what I thought. They were always on Griselda Records, but apparently they moved to Shady Records, or so I thought. I think they're back on Griselda. I'm not sure. Are they still on Shady? I'm very confused. I haven't heard anything lately, and I was just listening to them the other day. I think I was listening to Benny the Butcher came on, and I think it said Griselda Records under the song, and it was a new song though. I wouldn't know if it was an old song. So that's what spawned me wanting to talk about it. Like, are they still on Griselda Records, or are they Shady? Like, I know Conway. Could it just be Conway that was on Shady Records? And, that'd be a good pickup. I love his delivery and everything. That kind of sounds like a Raekwon, but with that, like, misbeer action. He's gonna be sick. They're all gonna be really big, I think. Conway, or maybe even West Side Gun, have a chance to be really, really big. Benny the Butcher, I feel like, already has a huge underground following, or they all do, but I feel like, they're all bubbling. They're all starting to pop really big now, so I don't know if they're still on Griselda Records, that would be cool. They still have a crazy good roster. Or if they're on Shady Records, that would be awesome. Eminem seems to be getting to be a better manager and businessman promoting his artists. Like he's starting to follow the Rick Ross recipe. Like Rick Ross puts like his artists in front of himself. It almost seemed like with Meek Mill and Wale, it almost seemed like he was pushing them out in the spotlight, and Rick Ross was taking a step back. He really cares about his artists and puts them first. And it seems like Eminem was starting to do that with Yellow Wolf and whoever else he had. I mean, Obi Trice was always getting to be big, but then they had a falling out, and everyone who gets on Shady seems to have a falling out. Obviously, Slaughterhouse and Joe Budden felt he didn't manage his career well and didn't make them any bigger than where they were before. When they got on Shady, they didn't get bigger at all. If anything, they, stayed even or got less. He might have felt like less popular. So all these artists are, once it's a pad, and D12, that's what I couldn't think of it. D12 has a big falling out. I think that's mainly due to Proof dying. I think if Proof didn't pass away, I think D12 would be fine and would still be very popular. And because D12 was Proof's group. I mean, Proof started that group, and after Bugs died, Eminem had to ask permission to get in the group, from Proof. So that was Proof's group. So when he dies, that group just disassembled. They lost their leader. They lost their main guy. So of course they were going to fall apart. But, a lot of artists do leave. I mean, I think Yellow Wolf had a problem for a while. A lot of artists are disgruntled on Shady because Eminem just wasn't a manager. He wasn't a businessman. He was a lyricist. He was a rapper. He was an artist himself, and I just don't think he was ready to manage people and didn't have that gene really innate and, in him right away. He had rapping and, being the best lyricist to ever grace a mic. He had that in him, but I just don't think he had managing artists in him, so he had to learn it, and I think he's getting better now, because I haven't heard any problems or any disgruntled artists lately. But I just really want to know about, I haven't heard any releases on Shady Records either, though, since all the backlash from Kamikaze and the D12 album, and or the D12 song, and the Joe Budden fallout and Slaughterhouse ending. I haven't seen much from Shady Records, so that'd be really cool though if Conway, Benny the Butcher, and Westside Gunn were on there. Alright, moving on next. Death Race for Love came out, the new Juice WRLD album. I'm still kind of listening to it the second time over and getting my true feelings, but at first I was like, I had such high expectations. I was like, this is gonna suck, and it started to suck. But then when I listened to it again, I'm like, this is his formula. He's sticking with the emo, depressed, oh, my girlfriend left me, woe is me, let me cry about it and make a song about it. He's sticking to that formula, which works. It works very well for him, so why wouldn't he stick to it? It's why I started to listen to him and like him, because I'm a sad guy crying when his girlfriend breaks up with him, and writing stupid Facebook posts that everyone tells me put down because it makes me sound like a wussy. I mean, that's me. I'm an emotional, sensitive guy. I can't help it. If there's a girl out there who wants a sensitive guy, you're looking at him. So, and he's single as fuck. So, I don't know. I guess, when that's all you know, and that's not all Juice WRLD knows, but that is his main recipe, and why change it if it's working? So, and the album's got some good surprise, different types of styled songs. He goes back and forth with Young Thug on a song, rapping and sounding good. So that was cool. I thought it was a good album overall, and it's getting better each time I listen to it. So I'll give maybe a better review on that in the future. But I think it'll be a 2 thumbs up from me. It's a good album, really good. And I was listening for a young band song. I've been listening to a little more young bands lately. Ever since him and Academics got in that beef, you know, I started to like it more. Anyone who beefs with Academics or calls them the police or gets them all pissed off and makes them drink Hennessy and call people out in his live stream, I like him more. I like Meek Mill for it. And now young bands, he was beefing with Academics, calling them the police, so they went back and forth, so I started listening to young bands more. But while I was searching for him, I found this artist, Young Blue, Youngbleu, and he's from Mobile, Arkansas. Or is it Mobile, Alabama? Mobile, Alabama. Young Blue is from there, and he's got a lot of followers, a pretty big following, so he might be. I haven't listened to any of his music yet. I just wrote him down that it's someone I want to start listening to, because it looks like, you know, he's getting a big following, getting to be big. So he might be someone I could really see myself getting into and liking. So I'm gonna check him out. If anyone knows any good songs by him, comment below and let me know where I should start listening to him. Rich Rocka, I don't know who that is either. These are just artists. But El Hida is an artist I just saw. He was on an NLE Choppa song, and El Hida sounds like that verse he did on that NLE Choppa song was really good, like really deep, emotional, some deep shit he was on. And it wasn't on just the talking about how much lean and Zans he took that day and how much cars and girls and money he has. It was actually some emotional, deep shit. So I'm definitely gonna be checking out El Hida also. He's and it's a cool name, El Hida. That's a sick name right there. I even thought of being called El KevMacc, El KevDog. That's pretty sick right there. I might be going through a name change, guys. You never know. I think it's got a ring to it. Flows off the tongue. El Hida sounds like a good artist that I'm definitely going to be getting into. And I like when people give me references on Facebook and like people I should check out. And this guy's from Connecticut. His name's Big G's. And he just kills. He has freestyle after freestyle on different beats, like hundreds of them, and he just kills verses. He just sometimes goes too fast for me. Like he is killing verse after verse after verse. I see he's performing live in smaller clubs, but he's starting to get a buzz in Connecticut, and I mean the fact that he's Connecticut's own is really cool. And you know, I support any Connecticut artist. I'm here for. You know, I want to see Connecticut get huge on the scene. I feel like we got a lot of great artists, and that's what I want to do here is highlight Connecticut artists. I want to give them a platform to play their music and talk to their fans and all that. So hopefully I can get Big G's on here and do an interview. You know, no big deal, just putting that out there. You do what you want with it. Throw it right back at me if you want, you know, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. Do what you will with it. You know, maybe the universe will do the right thing and he'll come on and be my first guest. Otherwise, I got a few lined up from people who hit me up before, but we're definitely gonna start showing those CT artists love, because CT artists gotta shine out here in this game. The game is tough, but we gotta kick down the door, get our way in. So Big G's, he could really do it, is the point. This guy is sick, disgusting, nasty, whatever word you want to fucking use, he's all of them. So listen to him, Big G's, G''S. You know, he's got a bunch of freestyles on his Facebook page and YouTube and everything, and he's got original songs. I haven't listened to many of those, I forget some titles, but just start searching for him and you'll just be amazed. Like, literally your jaw will hit the floor. So just, you'll immediately be a fan of him and follow him. So that's why I know this guy could actually be something. I mean, Connecticut artists never like take that next step. I feel like Chris Webby and maybe and what's his name, Apathy, are like the biggest it kind of gets. We get like one tier under the top mainstream, like one tier under being on the XXL freshman cover, even though that's a bullshit cover anyways. But you know, Chris Webby was so close, like one tier under getting votes, but not quite there. And that's how I feel like Connecticut artists get almost to the top. We get to like the AAA minor leagues, but we don't quite get to the major leagues. And you know, we're just waiting for one artist to break that and get to the major leagues. And maybe it could be this Big G's guy. I don't know how old he is, but he's definitely got the lyricism and song-making ability to do it. So I'll be looking out for him. Hopefully he'll do big things and the universe will bring us together on this podcast. Mar Baby, his name is M-A-R Baby. The song Hope Dealer that came on is actually really good. Look up Mar Baby Hope Dealer. It comes on in between my YouTube videos, that's how I found it. But he's an interesting look, and like, I don't know if he's one of those comedy rappers, you know, like I talked about before, the Boonks and Screen Patties doing shit. But it's because it's like a weird video, and like I can't tell if he's joking sometimes. I know people thought Sheck West was like a joke type guy, kind of like Lil Dicky. But Sheck West was the black version of Lil Dicky, is what people were saying. This Mar Baby seems like he might be joking around, but the song's serious. It's a serious topic, like dealing hope instead of drugs and whatever, just rich person shit. He's dealing the youth hope and everything. So I don't know how to take him yet, but he can rap, he can rhyme. So I'll be looking out for more on him. Definitely check out the Hope Dealer video and check out Mar Baby's music. Maybe you can tell me how you think about him, because I'm still torn. The jury's still out. I'm still deciding. So I'll let you know what my final decision is. Let me know if you like him while you're liking the video and everything, and subscribing to the channel. You know, while you're down there commenting, let me know about Mar Baby. I wrote about that the baby, the video for Suge, yeah. There's this white guy and it's the most basic dance he's doing, like this choppa dance, the thing that Young Jock used to do back in the day, probably before you guys remember. But you know, he's just doing this motorcycle rev dance. I don't know what you'd call that. But it's even more basic. Like, it's just a funny way to do that. The baby's doing it the whole video and like walking weird. And he's in an office building setting, and you know, he takes over the office building and starts doing the dance, and then all the employees start doing the dance, and this white guy, like middle, probably high 30s, low 40s, like messes up that dance and has no fucking rhythm. He seriously sets white people back 10 years in our dancing strides, like with just such a stereotypical white guy dance. He has no rhythm, can't do the dance. Everyone's just laughing at him in the video. You could tell it's just so bad. It's like, how can you be stiff while you're doing a dance? Like, moving around and he still looks stiff and awkward. Just hurt white culture, you know. I saw we were on shows like those So You Think You Can Dance and the dance competition show that used to be on MTV there, where they judged people and they got to the end where the Jabberwockies started getting big noticed. I'm sure there were a group way before that, but where I found out about them. So white people I'd see were sprouting up in those shows and stuff. I'm like, hey, white people can finally dance. We're doing this. I can't do it yet, but hey, we're doing this. We're gonna show people we do have rhythm. We're not just that stereotypical can't jump or dance. And, in 3 minutes in that stupid baby movie, this white guy, I feel like, ruined all the progress we were making. He set us back another freaking decade. It's just, I couldn't stop laughing. It's funny. I don't know. White people dancing is funny. I mean, everyone laughs at me when I dance, and for good measure. I mean, I suck at dancing, so I can't say anything, but I wouldn't advertise my bad dancing either. You can barely get me to do it at fucking prom or homecoming in high school, or when I go out to a club or whatever, when I do go to clubs or bars. I don't know. If you ever see me dancing, just don't go near me because I'm in that blackout drunk stage, and I probably won't remember this. And I might swing my arm and hit you with a cup or injure you in some way, shape, or form because I'm probably swinging my arms or doing wild movements with my body. I seem to do that when I'm drunk. Case in point, a couple weeks ago, I apparently almost knocked everything off a table for some reason. I felt the need to swing my arms and knock shit off the table. So, whatever, I guess I do that now. So, that's something new for me. Something new and exciting. I'm a arm swinger drunk. There's an angry drunk, a sad drunk, a loving everybody drunk, and then there's the Kevin drunk, the wild swinging arm drunk guy. Like, he looks like the inflatable thing at the car wash or whatever. Those things that wave around. Like, that's what I guess my reputation is now. So, whatever. You just gotta live and learn and move on, guys. That's the lesson for today. That's what we end on, is that white people can dance. Kind of. And, always just stay positive. Stay true to yourself, even if people laughing at some of the things you do or your past is defining you, and some people just, don't be insecure and just laugh about it, laugh with them, and keep a smile and keep thinking positive. That's seriously today's lesson. I'm glad I wrapped it up that way because I'm happier than ever making these videos and just not being so worried about what people think or, do people like these videos? What, are they going to make fun of me behind my back? Who cares? Who cares if they do? I hope everyone enjoys it if they do. But I've only been getting great feedback, so I love all of you who've been supporting my videos. Thank you for watching every day. Can't thank you enough. And I don't know, when I do get big, I'll figure out some way to thank my day one fans. Alright, love you guys. Keep checking back for that diss track video coming up next. The rise and fall of G-Unit. It's going to be a quick little 15-minute video. And just keep staying in tune, man. Daily videos. They're coming out. Back to back to back to back to back. Here on the I Feel Like Rhyming podcast. This is KevMacc signing off. Thank you. Peace.